Hello everyone, to my new let's look at The Fall. Now The Fall is a mixture of genres of platforming, third-person shooter, mystery, thriller, puzzle. It has and a dash of horror as well, or maybe that's just psychological horror, I don't know. Either way, it can get kind of creepy in this game as well. Now, like I said before, I will probably be doing a let's play at some point, not right now. This is only a let's look at, to show you guys what the game's like if you want to play it before I play it on my channel. I'm going to skip the cutscenes, as usual, so if you do want to play it at home, you can do so without being spoiled and, you know, get the full wonder and enjoyment of the game when you bought yourself. And A.R.I.D, which is the main character, if you want to call it such. I say it because it is a program.
Biomonitor inoperable. Pilot unresponsive. Life support functioning. Basic Mark 7 system access routed to A.R.I.D AI. Primary objective, save my pilot.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Accessing on-suit logs. Mission parameters and location data not found.
Yes, so there's a bit of exploration. You do have to actually, as you see, there's a gun. That's not operable at the moment, but that will become operable by the end of the video. You get it pretty early in the game, where you can actually start using your weapon.
Unknown. Weapon rendered inoperable from the impact. Consulting parameters. I will locate medical facilities.
Now, a fair warning here. I will be solving a few puzzles early on, so if you don't want that spoiled for you, click back right now. I don't want to spoil it for you if you don't want it to be spoiled, but I thought I would warn you. But it's not really anything huge. The puzzles are not exactly difficult in the beginning. They start getting more difficult in the second area of the game, which is quite a ways away, actually. But yeah, if you want a correlation of what this game is like, I forgot all about that. I wasn't paying attention. That scared me. If you want a correlation of what this game is similar to, if you've ever played... Oh crap, I forgot the name of it. Well, that went on my head. I guess it's time to find another focal point of conversation. So anyway, I was getting used to the controls because I usually played this with a controller. You can play it with a controller. It's actually really kind of easy to play it on a controller. It's not terrible to play it on a keyboard either. That's what I'm playing it on right now. But if you play it on the keyboard, it's a little harder when you get to interacting with stuff because you have to hit the left shift button, which I think you can change for the record, so... You know, as with most PC games, you can change the hotkeys. But yeah, A.R.I.D is not exactly fully in control. I say she because it sounds like a female voice actress. I don't know if AIs actually really have genders or not. It's not really pertinent now, is it? But yes, you have to go around interacting with things, finding things, using them. So in a way, it's kind of an adventure game, or something along those lines. But there is action, so you don't have to worry about it, which we'll be getting into later. But most of the things do make some kind of sense. You just have to think out a little bit outside the box. It's not terrible, where you'll just go, oh my god, what do I do? Except for maybe, I can think of maybe one puzzle off the top of my head, which you might have a little bit of trouble with. But you'll be seeing that in this thing right here. Oh wait, no, there's a different puzzle way later in the game, so never mind that. I guess there are about a few puzzles that are kind of bad, but...
I require access to my networking suite. Attempting internal activation.
Yes. Now we'll be getting into the AI. So A.R.I.D is it's an AI. She has 3 rules, as you see right there. And these rules will come into play very heavily later in the game, because there are times when you're going to want to lie, which is the must not misrepresent reality. Now...
Subsystem access requires authorization, but I may need these systems to safeguard my pilot. If I could find a way to bypass the lockout, I could override the access protocols myself.
Of course, this brings into question different ethics of morality with concerning AI. And that's one of the deep-rooted things with this game. It's not just go do this, go do that. There is some form of ethics that you have to think about. But, to be fair, this game doesn't exactly have a whole lot of choice, I'm not going to lie to you. It is an adventure game, you can only really go through one way through the game, so... If you're expecting I'll get to choose to do this, I'll get to choose to do that, no. I wish you could, but no, not really. And it does pay to actually look a lot more than I am. The only reason I'm not doing that right now is because I pretty much know exactly what to do, because I played through this before. So, you know, if it's your first time through the game, explore a little bit. Use your flashlight, look at things a little bit, interact with them, just to, you know, see what they do, see what they are, because a lot of the puzzles later in the game, you gotta know where something is to actually, you know, go do it. Kind of hard to do something if you don't know where it is. Much less if you don't even know what to do, and you don't know where it is on top of that. Okay, to be fair, I kind of knew that one was coming, but it's still a little creepy. Now, most of the puzzles are a little off the wall, but like I said before, they are not terrible to figure out, as long as you actually pay attention to what people say, and what the text says, so no skipping dialogue. That is, if you want to have an easier time of it.
Artificial life form. State your primary function.
I am the A.R.I.D. on board this Mark 7 combat suit. My intentions are peaceful. What is your designation?
Mark 7 A.R.I.D. State your primary function.
Negative. Reveal your designation and intention.
You are being evaluated for depurposing. State your primary function.
Unlock the door. I am leaving.
Negative. All artificial life forms must comply. State your primary function.
Do not attempt depurposing. Hostility will result in full defensive engagement.
Irrelevant. State your primary function.
Negative. I will not reveal my directives to an unknown entity.
Infraction. Avoidance. Continued infractions will result in failure.
My primary function is to assist and protect the human pilot of this armored combat suit.
Human occupant, please verify and validate the function of this artificial life form.
Impossible. He is unresponsive and likely in critical condition. I must find him medical treatment immediately. Can you be of assistance?
Evaluation failed. Unit unable to demonstrate valid primary function. Initializing neural format.
No.
That will kill my pilot.
So yes, now's the point where we start getting into the loopholes of the AI rules. The pilot's about to die. Her main thing is not to let the pilot die, so she gets more power. And you can kind of see how this is gonna go. From an ethics standpoint, A.R.I.D is not supposed to put her pilot in danger to get more powers. Unfortunately, she pretty much had to there. You know, have her pilot in mortal danger. That's kind of a bad thing for an AI to try and bend the rules. They're kind of made not to do that. And that's one of the ongoing themes of this game that we will see, as evidenced here in about 5 seconds, maybe even a little shorter. Because they do bring it up, as they don't just ignore the ethical quandaries.
Self-evaluation initiated. Pilot exposed to harm while under A.R.I.D. control. Login recommendation from A.R.I.D. Diagnostic and reformatting upon return to dock. Edit row. Ultimately, pilot was not harmed and A.R.I.D. networking suite was brought online. This system may be instrumental to ensuring survival.
So as you can see, even AI can rationalize. Well, it helps keep him alive, so maybe what I did wasn't wrong. Can AI rationalize? You're going to find out in this game that yes, A.R.I.D can in fact rationalize quite well, actually. Is it bad? I guess you'll see when you play the game and get to the final area, won't you? That freaked me out, I'm sorry. And when I was playing the game, that freaked me out, seeing that thing crawl, because I'd never seen that before, because I'm not very observant. And this is another thing, if you're not observant, you probably won't see, so make sure you do that.
Cease. Please identify yourself and your intentions. My inputs are inoperable.
I am the A.R.I.D. on board a Mark 7 combat suit. My intentions are peaceful. Does your pilot require assistance?
Negative. The human inside the suit is dead.
My pilot is injured. Are you aware of on-site medical facilities?
Negative. We were not here long enough to complete our search. There is a large compound above this cavern. It has amenities for humans and machines. So basically, medical scanners and equipment would be logical.
A motion sensor prohibits access to the facility above. Do you know how to bypass it?
Use your integrated camouflage.
Is your weapon functional? Mine was damaged.
It was. My pilot's attacker threw it aside while hanging us here. Before my observational system expired, I saw a small animal drag it through a crack in the floor.
It may still be functioning. If there is another cavern below us, I may be able to retrieve it.
The creature was drawn to my human's blood.
Your design is pilot-centric. How did this human die in your care?
I was granted rudimentary control when my pilot's cranium was compromised. I do not know why she was attacked, or why we were hung here. I failed to protect her. No vital signs detected for 23 minutes. She is dead.
You are irrelevant. I will find a way to get you down. Then I will deactivate you and repurpose your power cell.
Affirmative.
I encountered a modified droid in some type of evaluation chamber. I am uncertain if its function is hostile or narrowly programmed. Do you know why it interrogated me?
Negative. We were not interrogated.
Have you encountered any organics?
The indigenous flora and fauna are aggressive closer to the surface. The only organic I have encountered here is the animal who took my sidearm.
I do not have record of this location, or of my pilot's objective. Our deployment was likely for the same operation. Please disclose your human's mission directive.
State your pilot's clearance.
5th Quadrant Raven Division. Clearance level 7, 533172.
Processing. Clearance level not sufficient.
I will return.
So yes, A.R.I.D does not exactly have a whole lot of sympathy. AIs, I'm gonna guess, probably won't when we invent AI, but yeah, she essentially just said, I'm gonna take you down from there and rip your heart out. So, and he's like, okay, good. So again, is it wrong to, in a sense, kill another AI to serve your own purpose? Well, that's the question now, isn't it? And A.R.I.D's answer is an unflinchable, no, it's not wrong. Now the other puzzle, which I mentioned was a little bit tricky if you don't pay attention, was when he said, the animal seems to be attracted to my human's blood. That's why I picked up the metal pan up there, and that's why I put the metal pan under the blood, because it's kind of essential. But it's little things like that. If you don't pay attention, you'll go, what do I do? I can't get it out of the hole, what am I supposed to do? I can't get the gun, what am I... So, you know, pay attention. I've said it twice, 3 times now. It's for a reason. Because if you don't, you'll never get through the game. Or if you do, it'll take extenuatingly longer, which I think I just made that word up for the record, but... extenuatingly, but... Yep. This is one of the more interesting...
The animal is timid. It will not exit the burrow while I am in proximity.
This is one of the more interesting networking opportunities in the game. One of my favorite, actually, just because it reminds me of just... Well, I guess you'll just see here. This reminds me of an action movie here. Doesn't it just seem like something that would be in a movie? Like networking remotely with a gun to shoot something that's holding it? I'm pretty sure I've seen that in a movie somewhere before. Now this is the weapon kind of portion that starts here. That's not to say that the whole game is shoot 'em up. There are shoot 'em up areas. But they're teaching you how to use the gun now. You don't want to try and aim with the flashlight because, well, you can't really tell where you're aiming with the flashlight, so there's a time and a place for both. And here starts the action.
Target of unauthorized weapon fire located. Unauthorized artificial life form. Shut down all systems immediately or you will be destroyed.
I am the A.R.I.D. on board this Mark 7 combat suit. My intentions are peaceful. What is your...
Target not complying. Threat level escalated. Engaging.
Then again, some people are not really up to talking. And if you just stand out in the middle like a moron, you will die very, very quickly. Because they are more powerful than you are, unless you hit them in the head. So keep that in mind. I don't think you can be headshot, but I wouldn't take the chance on it. Have you ever played Counter-Spy? It's kind of like that, with the firing system a little bit. You feel just about as weak as in that game as well. It's just a matter of timing. Can you time your shots well enough so that you don't get hit? And that's about all I'm going to show for today, because if I go much longer, I'm going to just spoil a lot more stuff I don't want to spoil. I wanted to show you the combat portion of the game as well. If this looks like a game that you might want to play, it's called The Fall. You can find it on Steam. I believe you can find it on a few other places, and hopefully I shall see you guys next time. Farewell, everyone. Until then.